Christ followers with a passion to serve.
Engaging culture with a biblical worldview.
Creatives with the creator's mind to ignite thought.
Glory to glory, sharing his story.
A moment is a period, a space of time, a small space in time. And the moment that comes to mind is when Jesus took Peter, James, and John up on the mountain of transfiguration, and they began to see his figure change, or his clothes become white as snow. And in that moment, they seen the Savior like they never seen him before. They saw his glory, his majesty, because Elijah and Moses began to come down and began to engulf him. Every moment is captured. Every moment is for a reason and a season. So a moment can't be taken for granted. It cannot be taken for granted. A moment has to be bottled. It has to be stored. It has to be locked in safekeeping, because you never know if you will ever get that moment back. So cherish the moment.
If I have to pick a moment, it's when, you know what I'm saying, the soldiers had him tied down to it. I can't remember if it was a stone or a tree stump, you know what I'm saying? They had him tied face down, you know, had his hands wrapped around the stone, had his back, you know what I'm saying, had his back completely showing, you know what I mean? And they just started whooping him. You know what I'm saying? Started whooping him with the cat o' nine tails, man, and he didn't back down off his word. He just took it. You know what I'm saying? Every hit from that whip was taking off a piece of his body. You know what I'm saying? To where his ribs were showing. You know what I'm saying? And he still took it for the love of us. He still took it for the love of us, man. And, I mean, even after all that, you know, to get up on the cross and still ask the Father to forgive us. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not what we do. And still, to this day, he sits at the right hand of the Father. And still, he asks him to forgive us, because we know not what we do.
Moments. One of my favorite moments in the Bible is when Samuel, the prophet, was a child, and he kept hearing God, but had no reference point for who God was as far as who was speaking to him. He was so confused as to who was calling him that he went to the only person that he knew was there. Even though the voice might not have sounded exactly the same, he went to what was familiar. And that person had enough wherewithal to tell him, the next time you hear the voice, say, "Speak, God, your servant hears." And then it says, and God came and stood and called as he did before. The fact that he was there talking to him. Anyway, that's just one of my favorite moments.